Hello, my name is Ali Abawad. I am Palestinian. I live in the West Bank, my town called Beit Umar, around Hebron. I am a member of the Parent Circle Families Forum. I'm the spokesman of the organization. I was born to a refugee family from 1948, a very political mother. My mother used to be one of the most activist women in BLO. She took part of political activities against the Israeli occupation, and she was arrested for several times. She spent 5 years in the prison, and it didn't take me a minute to think to have part of the same activities when I was even a child. I became very active in the first Intifada when I was 16 years old. I get arrested twice. The first time was for 3 months, then again for 4 years with my mother. And we grow up in this political environment, whether it is inside our home and inside our family or on the street outside. Suddenly you feel yourself a hero and a fighter and all of these values of belonging to a cause of freedom for my nation, and you ignore totally the other side because conflict didn't allow you to even to think about maybe the pain of the other side, or what is standing on their back and why they are doing what they are doing, why they feel what they feel. The only matter that you consider yourself a victim maybe, and you want to revenge back and you want to achieve your political cause. So my relation with Israel used to be the relation between the fighter and the occupier, between the good guy and the bad guys. And I never thought even that Israelis have tears, have pain, and all what I thought about them is terrible things, bad people, took my land, took my dreams, took my freedom, and they deserve to be punished. So when I get arrested the second time, it was a place where I started to grow up in my thoughts as a political leader, more than someone who deal with reconciliation or non-violence or peace building. Because in the prison, Palestinian political prisoners are very organized. It's kind of a university in a way. I know this sounds strange. We have had 5 committees: education committee, management committee, security committee, negotiation committee, and national committee to organize the relation between the political parties. And you live in this system, and the only way to go outside from the prison is through a book that you read, or through a story that you hear from others, or sharing others your own story. And I got the best education from Palestinian leaders inside the prison. So I spent 4 years. And the first encounter with non-violence was when I joined a hunger strike for 17 days to achieve better condition for myself and for my brothers in the prison, and to visit my mother in her other prison. Then after 17 days of starving, you put your life in your hand and your humanity as the best weapon in the battle. You don't have and you don't make physical action against physical body. It's a battle against thoughts. It's a battle against stereotype. It's a battle against any behavior could attack your humanity. And you don't feel guilty in non-violence because you don't attack physically any person or secure or less secure his life. And you feel the rightest one, and you feel strong, even with the physical weakness after 17 days of starving. Then suddenly I could smile again and have hope again that it works. We achieved many things, and I could visit my mother in her other prison after this battle. And it really touched me deeply. Not because I care about the other side, that I didn't use violence. It's because I found the best way to maybe to empower my humanity, and it's the power of right more than the right of power. So my right was so powerful that nobody can stand against it, because it went to the other side in such a human way, and it helps the other side to understand. In non-violence, you evacuate the hatred. You bring down the way that your enemy think about you or behave against you. You also create a trust inside him, that a secure place for himself, not for you, to rethink again about who you are and what you do. So when you don't use violence, he feels more secure to understand what you are asking for. It's a very complicated behavior, and it's a very long process. Anyway, I was released by Oslo Peace Agreement, and with my mother, which this agreement was signed in 1993, and it was a big shock for us to see Rabin and Arafat shaking hands in the White House. Nobody expected that the PLO will recognize the right of Israel to exist, or Rabin or the Israeli government will recognize PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, as a partner for peace, as a legal organization. Then the mission has been changed in our family, in my political party Fatah, on the ground, to switch from being a fighter and to belong to political party, to switch to be and to try to be a citizen of a state. Then you serve a society, you don't serve a revolution. And this switch couldn't have really the good system to be organized enough and convinced enough for Palestinians to identify with. Because we couldn't understand, shall we behave as citizens in an independent state to serve law, or shall we still have the revolution against the occupier, who also continue the military activity on the ground, including settlement and settlers. So we were very disappointed. We didn't know what to identify with. But in anyhow, I couldn't go back to violence, and I couldn't see that militant action is an answer for this complexity. But on the other hand, I couldn't have hope that this process of peace building is a real one on the ground, which serve my rights and my daily movement on the ground. Because I was stuck in many checkpoints, I couldn't reach my university that I wanted to study afterward, and I couldn't have normal life. So, on the other hand, the militant reaction of the Palestinian has been raised up. Many events of violence, suicide bombers inside Israel and on the West Bank. So the behavior of the political parties and the political framework on the ground has been changed a lot. And I really couldn't have a specific, clear place for myself to be part of this madness as I used to be. So we stepped back. We went to social activity mostly. I became an officer in the Palestinian Authority, then I resigned because it didn't work with me, it didn't talk about me. I was angry of part of the corruption of the authority. I was angry of the continuation of the Israeli occupation on the ground. I was angry on myself. I was feeling waste of energy and power after all of these years that I grow up to give Palestine another person and another activist, another fighter. So anyway, in 2000, as a result of despair, as a result of anger among the authority itself and among the occupation, as a result of lack of organization, the second intifada has started, but was more militant, not like the public uprising in the first intifada. So in October 2000, I was badly wounded by a settler who was passing from Kiryat Arba in Hebron, Kiryat Arba settlement, crossing the street to Jerusalem, shooting people through his car. And I was badly wounded in my knee. Then I was sent to Saudi Arabia for medical treatment. Luckily, but I didn't lose my leg. I still have 12 pieces of the dum-dum bullet which explodes after it gets to the body. And I spent 3 months for medical treatment in Saudi Arabia. And after the first month, my mother was with me, 31 years old, 2 years older than me. In 16th of November 2000, he was stopped by a group of Israeli soldiers in the entry of my town, Beit Umar, and very violently killed by the soldiers. A soldier shot him 70 centimeters from his head, and he killed him. He was not armed. He was not active in any violence action. He was stopped there, and he was such a tall, beautiful guy. And there was a stone thrown by Palestinian kids against the army. And when Yusuf get down from his car, he started shouting on the kids to stop, because it was also dangerous for the Palestinians who were stopped by the army. Then the kids listened to him. So there was a soldier who couldn't get it. How come a Palestinian guy in one word can quiet a few of kids, and the Israeli army with the all power couldn't do that? Then Yusuf get back to his car, and the same soldier start throwing stones on Yusuf's car. Yusuf get down again from the car, and he starts arguing with the soldier why he's doing that. The soldier said that Yusuf was showing himself as a hero, and the soldier said that he's the one who's in charge, and Yusuf is not allowed to do anything, and he has to close his mouth. And he said no, and the soldier said, I will kill you. Yusuf said, you can't. Then he shoot him like this way and he killed him. Yusuf left us a son and a daughter and a huge package of pain that you don't know how to live afterward. You don't know why to live. Yusuf for me was a reason of living. He was my brother, he was my partner, he was my best friend. And for what? And what could be happened for me to have consolances or to be able to continue my life? Because whatever I will do, Yusuf will not come back. And I couldn't accept that he will not come back. I couldn't accept that. I was so broken, so angry. I didn't want to see the other side. I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't want to pass again the same gate, which is still in the entry of my village, and to talk to soldiers to go to the main street. I wanted to disappear. I wanted the ground to swallow me. I couldn't have a reason to open my eyes in the second morning. I saw Yusuf's face in every person that I meet. I have his memories wherever I go and whatever I think or whatever I dream. And especially that Yusuf was married and he left us a son and a daughter. I see him every minute in the face of his kids. And I don't have even an answer for them when they say, "Where is our father?" And there is no reason. I mean, their father was not in charge in any political or militant action. And he didn't die in a car accident. Somebody killed their father. And you don't have an answer for that. It was so hard for me even to go to his grave. It took me 3 months to visit his grave. And it was so hard. Anyway, I closed myself in. Even I was trained on Kalashnikov and I know how to shoot. And it's not a big deal to have a gun. I couldn't attack somebody live. I couldn't see myself that taking a life of another person will ease my pain. Even militant action or violence will not even politically help us as a Palestinian to achieve our goal of freedom and to end the Israeli occupation. I was convinced about that even before. But on the other hand, I have no power anymore. I promise you that I'm ready to give up anything on the planet, on life, even my life, just to see him again for 1 minute. And I know that this will never happen again. So I wanted to find a way to deal with all of that. I wanted to find a way, not for psychological treatment. I wanted to relive, to go back to life. And I knew in advance that it's not gonna be the same life. You are not the same person. People around you are not the same. Everything is not the same. So how to find a way to find yourself again and to connect to life again, to society, to culture, to people. And what makes it hard even up till now, that the occupation is still there and you are facing all of this pain every day and you cannot even disconnect from the other side. I have to see soldiers every day, I have to pass checkpoints, and I have to see settlers every day, and I have to deal with all of that. So I closed myself in, and after 8 months, my mother got a phone call from a bereaved Israeli religious Jewish man and he said that his son Eric was kidnapped and killed by Hamas. And his name is Yitzhak Frankenthal, and they are a group of bereaved Israeli families who are willing to have kind of reconciliation with the Palestinian side. And they wanted to visit us because our family is a famous family and my mother is very well known. And I was shocked when she invited them to my home. I was really shocked and quite angry of her. How can you do that? Then I realized, when I saw a group of mothers and fathers and brothers coming to my home with respect, with understanding for my pain, with understanding for my rights, and without any militant mark on their body. I used to have always Israelis in my home. The army who used to damage and arrest and beat and do everything, but I never had such a human being. I could never see an Israeli crying. Then at that moment, I don't know what happened to me. And I realized that yes, there is a human being on the other side. It's not a question about occupiers anymore. There is so much details behind all of that. And shortly I found myself a member of the parent circle with my mother. I found myself going to places that I never expect to be. In different places all over the world, going to United Nations, to the House of Lords, and to places even here in Israel and the Palestinian side, having another message, another way of living, another way of thinking, and believing that there is no other way. We have to end this madness. We have to know each other because we don't know each other. We have to understand each other, not to accept or to agree about everything, but understanding, meaning that you put yourself in a place that you are willing to pay the price of peace, because we paid the price of war and it's terrible. So anything could I give up which will give any person, especially Yusuf kids, my brother kids, a better conditions for their life, I will be willing to do. On the other hand, that I realized afterward that the complexity of this situation comes from fear, and I have realized that the Jewish fear has become my best enemy, not the Jewish themselves. So to deal with a frightened nation who cause you suffering, you have to use non-violence. There is no other option. And the Palestinian suffering, the Palestinian pain, the occupation is the best enemy for Israelis. So it's not something that you are pro this or pro that. You have to understand what is behind every nation, what is behind every behavior, what is behind every political statement. So even I found myself in places overseas that people argue about being pro this or pro that. And people cannot be pro solution. And I'm not ready to be part of this game anymore. So we get to the ground with an amazing framework, with different projects, that we are not a group of good people who meet and have hummus and hugs and we feel good with ourselves and we are the good people and the rest are the bad ones. No, we are doing a real work on the ground. We work with politicians to create lobby. We have the best chance to go to high schools for the first time as a Palestinian, to tell my story to these kids who are gonna join the army soon. And for the first time in their life, when they meet me and they listen to my story, they change what they were grown and raised about. That the other side is the devil. People is gonna throw us to the sea. Palestinians are extremists. Suddenly they see the human being behind every political statement or media activity. So I believe today that we didn't reconcile yet. We want to reconcile. We didn't achieve peace yet. We want to have peace. But without having part of changing the values of belonging to our own nation, our countries, to each other, to change the values of living, we will not be able to reconcile or to have peace. And this will not happen in the White House. This will not be achieved in some other countries. This should be done here on the ground between each other. And this is what my mind tells me, this is what I believe in, and this is my way for living and my way to achieve my vision of peace, of independence, of security for everyone in this land. And one of the hardest things that people take sides, both sides consider themselves as victims, competition of suffering, and we are not equal in life, we are equal in death. We are sharing what is under the ground because we were not be able to share what is on the ground. But what is buried on the ground is more holy than what is on the ground. And what's still on the ground is also holy because it is human being life. Life is more important than anything else. So to connect to all of that and to continue all of that, we have firstly to believe in ourselves that we can make a difference. And I remember this saying said, if you feel so small to make a difference, try to sleep with a mosquito in one room. There is a moment in life that we feel we are broken. We cannot do any change. We are just one person or a few group of people. But I believe that we don't need millions to build a bridge. We need a good group of good believers to build a bridge that millions can pass through. So are you willing to be part of these builders of a bridge? Because we need you, we need your help, we need your support, and we need your message. And we need you as messengers of our message. Because finally, by the end of the day, there is no labels. We are born as a human being, naked and clean from anything. And when we die also, we are buried with nothing. We are buried just with the work that we did in our life. So it's your choice. What is your mission and what is your job in this life and in our conflict? And I'm sure that we need the third part. Because I told you, every side feels that he's the victim of the other. So we need justice, we need a good judge, not to judge one side and not to punish or pressure one side. We need you to be part of our hope and of our mission and to be messengers, to encourage our belief for better future for all of us. Extremist has no borders. You have to know that.